Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Guess who has been paying the full health care bill for Michigan's retired legislators? One hint, they look an awful lot like you.
We are tracking severe thunderstorms in the Central Plains. They're headed here, but will they weaken before they arrive?
Parents from 2 school districts in Metro Detroit say their kids were duped into giving out cell phone numbers and addresses. Tonight, we'll tell you who's accused of using that information to harass students.
Those stories in just a moment, but first we begin with breaking news in downtown Detroit where a DDOT driver has just stabbed a passenger. It happened at the end of the bus route at the Renaissance Center.
The driver tells police the guy refused to get off the bus, so she pulled a knife.
Let's get to Tim Pamplin on the scene with a night cam.
We're downtown Jefferson and Beaubien. There's the number 53 downtown bus, comes from State Fair. The female bus driver, I'm being told, got into a row with a passenger. He refused to get off of her bus. Police tell me the female driver and the male passenger got into an argument. The driver then pulled out a knife and started stabbing the passenger. She's talking to police. He's gone to the hospital. Police officers here at the scene are telling me she's saying she acted in self-defense. They say, hold up, wait a second. Let's look at the videotape. That's right, I'm being told this whole incident is caught on tape. We'll stay on top of this, give you updates throughout the night. That's the scene right now downtown with a night cam. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, our other big story tonight, an assembly at a middle school ends with students handing over some personal information.
That information passed along to a company that claims it can get you into the movie business, and they've been contacting those students. Let's get to Priya Mann live, and Priya, a lot of upset parents out there tonight about this.
Well, Kimberly, parents in both Clawson and Avondale school districts say their kids were tricked into giving their cell phone numbers and addresses. Both districts say they had no idea personal information would be collected. And tonight, the theater group that performed here, well, they too say they were left in the dark.
It's a violation of the kids, and they preyed on the kids.
Deborah Mulheron's daughter Emma is a 7th grader at Clawson Middle School. She was at the anti-bullying performance last month when kids were asked for their personal information.
Your name, phone number, email, and possibly address.
Students were told they could enter a raffle contest to win a gift card. Instead, parents say their kids began receiving phone calls saying they'd won the chance to audition for a TV show.
It's an anti-bullying skit that they were there to do. And what are they turning around and doing? They're doing the bullying themselves.
The Jewish Ensemble Theater put on the performance. They were funded by the studios at Michigan for close to $1,200. Jet, as they're known, say they had no idea students were solicited.
When they're giving us this money to say go in to do this show, they're not telling me what's happening before or after. We're paid to go in and do the show.
The studios at Michigan did not return multiple calls for a comment and were closed when we tried to visit their office. Students in the Avondale School District were also solicited.
It makes us feel kind of violated, kind of victimized in a sense that it was shady.
They could take that information and sell it to another company. When's it going to end? You don't know, and that's the scary part.
And Jet says they've canceled several upcoming performances that were funded by the studios at Michigan. They're also considering legal action. Studios at Michigan, by the way, not accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Both districts say they're now reviewing policies to ensure this never happens again. Reporting live from Clawson, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya. Well, a few showers out there tonight, but it could be a messy drive to work in the morning. Let's check in with Ben, and rain and wind tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's going to get an early start on us. Sukim by 4 a.m. This is what we're going to pick it up. Showers just off to the west. They'll start moving in to our area probably around 5, 6 a.m. Just about everybody seeing not only showers, but a few rumbles of thunder in there too. This is going to get out of here pretty quickly. 8 a.m. I think a lot of us are going to be dry, but as that cold front approaches a little bit closer to lunchtime, we'll get a renewed push of at least some scattered showers. And the winds are going to be up too. We'll see those gusts of over 30 miles an hour at times tomorrow morning. Temperatures though still on the mild side, the mid-50s. Not so much after that cold front. We'll talk about cooler air and also some stronger winds for Wednesday. That's all coming up in a few minutes. Kim?
President Trump promised it was coming, and tonight House Republicans have revealed their plan to replace the Affordable Care Act. It's called the American Health Care Act. It eliminates the subsidies that help people with low incomes buy insurance and replaces them with tax credits. It also scraps the requirement to have health insurance. The measure will be introduced to House committees on Wednesday.
Premiums, deductibles, co-pays, you know just how much you pay for health insurance. But did you know you're also footing the entire bill for retired legislators in Lansing, not just for a few years, but for life? Mara McDonald is live. And Mara, you've learned that platinum perk may be on the way out.
It may be on the way out, Kimberly. Tomorrow morning in Lansing, a bill is going to drop that would make state legislators actually pay 20% of their premiums. Take a look.
Did you have any idea Michigan taxpayers have been footing the bill for Gold Standard Blue Cross for retired legislators? And I mean the whole bill.
This is my 65th day in office. I found out 2 weeks ago these people pay nothing for their health care.
State Representative Joe Bellino is betting you didn't know either.
I had no idea.
And he would be right. That perk was extended to retired legislators for decades. Recent legislators who are out of office pay 10% of their health care premiums. And the new crew in Lansing right now won't qualify for lifetime health care. Tuesday morning, Representative Bellino's dropping a bill in the House that says if you're a retired legislator, it's time for you to pay 20% of your premium.
To me, if we're going to ask other municipalities to shore their books up, fund their health care properly, schools, cities, why doesn't the state do that?
The savings, a fiscal analysis finds, would be between $5 and $6 million per year. Sounds pretty basic to you.
The legislators should be subject to what we have to deal with.
As a single mom, I think that they should pay something like we do.
Back here live, we reached out to you on our Local 4 Facebook page asking you what you think about this bill and what you think about taxpayers footing these bills for all of these years. I'll be over there right after I'm done with you, Kimberly. Anybody has any questions, I'll be there to chat. Back to you.
In the meantime, though, Mara, what are the chances that this actually passes in Lansing?
Actually, they're looking not so bad. You know, there have been attempts at this in the past and they sort of fizzle out for a variety of reasons, but I spoke to the House Speaker tonight. He's on board with taking a look at this. A lot of other legislators are as well, so maybe it's going to happen.
Okay.
Back to you.
We know you'll keep us posted, Mara. Thank you.
Police are searching for the person who killed a woman inside her Ypsilanti apartment. 32-year-old Nina Battle was found shot to death Saturday afternoon at her apartment complex on South Hewitt Street. Police are asking anyone who has any information to come forward. A new executive order on immigration goes into effect in 10 days, but this travel ban is different from the last one President Trump signed. In the first ban, 7 Muslim countries were on the travel ban list. On this new one, Iraq has been left off, and there is no longer an all-out ban on Syrian refugees. It won't affect green card holders. Visas obtained before January 27th will not be revoked either.
Teen athletes and addiction. Researchers have figured out which sports are most likely to lead to heroin abuse.
Also, cruelty on camera. A man caught dumping a kitten outside a downriver business.
And her specialty is cars. A successful engineer at Ford who happens to lack one critical skill. She doesn't drive a car.
I never found the chance to take the test and get my license.
Her unusual story is coming up next.
The Detroit.
You could call her the thoroughly modern millennial. A young, highly successful Ford engineer is changing the auto industry from the passenger seat because she doesn't drive. In fact, here she is walking to work.
That's amazing. Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney brings us her success story.
Get ready to meet an automotive rock star. She's a Ford research engineer with just 2 years on the job and has accomplished more than most lifers have. But it's the one skill set that she lacks that is making a huge difference. She doesn't have a driver's license, and no, she does not own a car.
A 2-room Dearborn flat comes alive early with vinyl on a turntable.
I love the feel It's just so pure and raw.
23-year-old California-born Tori Shine prefers peanut butter powder on bread for lunch. Her immaculately kept efficiency reflects her passions: cars, her automotive artwork, and a bicycle. But usually, she walks at least a mile to the Ford employee shuttle stop.
I usually track my steps in my phone.
Her sunrise silhouette this unseasonably warm February morning is not a necessity, it's a choice. And her shuttle ride, a carryover from college mass transit.
I've always loved cars, and the idea of driving is fascinating. But I found that my way of getting around was pretty convenient for me.
To her, cars aren't transportation as much as works of art.
When I was little, I saw one and screamed out the car and scared my mom half to death. But I just was pointing at this car and saying how wonderful it was, and I wanted it.
Her mother bought art books teaching how to draw cars and trucks, and she learned obviously very well. After a Smith College bachelor's in engineering, she brought her talents to Ford as an intern, where she established early on good automotive research engineers needn't have sweated a driver's test. Yet she did sweat a frightening attempted U-turn in her brother's car years earlier that gave her an idea.
He wasn't able to make it, and we got stuck, and there was oncoming traffic, and we almost got in an accident, and it was really scary for me. And I wanted a way to know before a turn was going to happen whether or not it was a feasible turn.
So early on, she submitted a 15-page invention disclosure to Ford lawyers.
It actually turned into 5 different ideas. They separated it because there were 5 different novel aspects of it.
She filed more and more inventions and is now looking at the possibility of claiming 15 patents before age 25. Her first uses this little button mock-up, which connects to a phone app to predict U-turn success.
I look at a lot of different things from a different perspective, and I think it adds a lot of uniqueness to some of the solutions that I come up with. Here's an attachment for it.
Ford wasn't letting her get away. Cynthia Flanagan, her boss, says as it looks to morph from car maker to transportation company, Tori's lack of license simply works at Ford.
Everybody loves to work with her. She's engaging, creative, open-minded, and we're really excited by what she's doing.
Now, Tori isn't even certain yet what she wants to actually do in the automotive industry, but she set some goals, nothing lofty, a master's and a PhD, and to make good on those 2 things that she lacks, her driver's license and that new Ford car. In Dearborn, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Talk about a rock star.
The perspective, we just can't get into her mind anyway because we know how to drive and we've been driving, so you can't erase those memories.
You're right. There's so much I like about that story, too. And her mother for seeing that passion early on and feeding her, showing her books and things. That's a great story.
Yeah. I love that. All those patents, too. She is a rock star. Now here's a look at what Defender Karen Drew has coming up tomorrow night.
For the first time, the parents of murdered Wayne State Police Sergeant Colin Rose talk about their son.
He loved Detroit. He really did.
And the search for their son's killer.
If he can kill a police officer in broad daylight,
what's he got to lose? And a new twist in the case. What happened on Grand River that could help find the killer?
The Defenders with the exclusive Tuesday at 11.
Let's get to the forecast now. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be a little eventful out there.
Yeah, not as eventful as what we're looking at out west. There's some serious showers and thunderstorms. In fact, severe weather along a fairly long line here from central parts of Wisconsin all the way down into Missouri. All those orange boxes indicate severe thunderstorm warnings and a couple tornado warnings along that line as well. By the time those storms cross the lake and get here tomorrow morning, they will be much weaker, but it's still going to end up with a pretty wet commute starting tomorrow. I guess this really could be anywhere, but it is downtown Detroit. Very low clouds out there. This is actually the best view we've had in the last 20 minutes. 54 is the temperature at Metro right now, still under overcast skies, winds out of the south 17. It's going to be a gusty one tomorrow. Right before that cold front comes through, we'll look for wind speeds gusting around 30 miles an hour in the morning. These temperatures, though, aren't going to move a whole lot. In fact, we've actually gone up a little bit since earlier this evening. 54 right now at Metro. These temperatures are generally about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than what we were looking at 11 o'clock last night. So here comes the rain tomorrow. And again, it's about a 3-hour window from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. or so. Beyond that, we should stay dry briefly until that cold front brings a few extra showers through. Tuesday and Wednesday will be dry, but the next big story we're watching are the winds that are coming behind this second cold front on Wednesday. These are not temperatures, these are wind gusts as we get into Wednesday afternoon. Mid-40s, possibly 50 miles per hour up here in Lapeer. And again, this is going to be similar to what we'll see for a few hours on Wednesday afternoon. So keep that in mind. Those winds are going to be tough to contend with. Temperatures already hit their low. We're likely going to rise just a little bit as we head towards tomorrow morning. Just a few scattered sprinkles until that line of showers gets in here. These are the highs tomorrow, and this is going to be as warm as it gets all week. Upper 50s here in our metro zone, close to 60. Very similar numbers in our south zone. If we do see 60, I think it's going to be right here in parts of Monroe County, possibly reaching into downriver. Otherwise, west zone, you'll be slightly cooler, especially out there on the western edge. Howell at 53, 52 in Flint, and low 50s in our north zone, too, here for Lapeer and also Sanilac County. And we'll see slightly warmer numbers down here towards M59. Temperatures only going down from there. We will get some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but look at the numbers as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Mid-40s, 30 start to show up here on Friday, and we will make a little bit of a recovery towards early next week. And look at that. There's some snowflakes showing up on Monday.
I knew it.
But we don't look. It doesn't look like anything significant right now. It's really tomorrow and that wind on Wednesday that we're watching.
Anything that could get us, I guess, back to our snow average. I know we're a little under that.
It's going to be a while if that happens.
Yeah. All right, Ben.
Okay, Ben. Well, be sure to join us Wednesday night for our primetime special, Failure in Flint. The crisis continues. We're digging into why a proper fix is taking so long and how the lead-contaminated water is really affecting the community. It's Wednesday night at 8, right here on Local 4. Hotel attack. A woman grabbed by a masked stranger. The one thing she did that may have saved her life.
And left for dead, a man caught on camera abandoning a kitten outside a local business.
Coming up on Local 4 News today, breaking, trending, and everything in between. We'll have all of the overnight big stories that you need to know as you're waking up.
Plus, sweet success. The Detroit baker cooking up more than 50 kinds of creative cheesecakes. That also includes those for diabetic-friendly, sugar-free, and vegan taste testers. It's Tasty Tuesday at 6 a.m.
And looks like a wet morning drive, so weather and traffic always on the 4s. Detroit mornings start here from 4:30 to 7 a.m.
The Local 4.
Welcome back. The search is on for this man seen dumping a kitten outside a downriver business.
The folks at Taylor Auto Salvage have surveillance video of him abandoning the cat on their property. He even drives off with it still underneath his pickup. The cat wasn't hurt, but hasn't been found yet either. Taylor police say when they find the guy responsible, he could be charged with abandoning an animal or animal cruelty.
A man who barricaded himself inside an Auburn Hills home surrendered peacefully after 3 hours. The armed man locked himself in the home near Opdyke and South Boulevard. He apparently wanted to be shot by police. He's in custody tonight.
Neighbors are raising money for the Napa Auto Store on Milford Road in Highland Township that's been destroyed by fire. Video here showing the building engulfed in flames around 5 this morning. The cause of that fire remains under investigation.
Attacked on the job, a hotel worker fights off a rapist. He's seen roaming the hallways of the Nebraska hotel there. When he spots her, he grabs her and forces her around the corner. She was able to remove his mask, causing him to panic and run out. But he returned for that mask, and police were able to identify and arrest him. Turns out he has a history of sexual assault in 3 different states and is already on the sex offender registry.
U of M researchers are looking at a link between contact sports and the use of heroin and prescription painkillers. They looked at 21,000 high schoolers from 2006 to 2014. Almost 70% played contact sports. Athletes who played sports like hockey and wrestling were at a greater risk of using heroin or opioid painkillers like morphine and oxycodone. Of those who played hockey, 8.3% said they've used opioids. Nearly 1% reported heroin use. Researchers say these athletes may be trying to cure sport-related injuries. She may be small in size, but there's nothing small about the word she's spelling.
How about this? 5-year-old Edith Fuller from Tulsa, Oklahoma, is heading to Washington, D.C. to compete in the National Spelling Bee. You heard that correctly. She's 5, yes, and heading to the Nationals. Edith beat out 53 students in her region, ranging from the ages of 5 to 14. She spelled the word Janaha to clinch her spot as the youngest person ever to compete in the national competition. And by the way, the word Janaha is the Hindu term for knowledge.
That trophy's almost as big as her.
And at 5
5 years old.
I think I was just learning to spell cat. And I probably got that wrong.